So we're going to document something cool that just happened right at the end of Michael's gifting workshop. How about can you tell the story?
Yeah. So we were walking back from the beach. I'm just gonna move this guy up there. Can you move him?
Yeah, but
Oops.
my trackpad doesn't work.
Oh, there you go. We were walking back from the beach. Stopped in the coffee shop, waiting on my burrito to be made, and there was a blues song on the radio.
It was pop. It was modern, jazzy pop.
And
It was good enough.
Mihai grabbed me and took the lead and started dancing with me. And
I think I asked you first, and you thought about it for a while, and then you're like, okay.
yeah, it's definitely. I don't know if I've ever followed before.
Let alone in a public place.
Right.
People like coffee shop full of people on their laptops.
Right. People sitting there looking cool, and some seemingly gay guys from wherever the hell we're from are dancing right in the middle of a cafe. And so, yeah, so we danced for like 30 seconds, maybe a minute.
Yeah.
And this guy, I walked up to the counter to get my burrito, and this guy who was getting his coffee came by, and he was like, wow, man, I'm impressed, like, and I was like, you mean my following? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, what? I've never followed before. And he was talking about how he'd like to learn how to, like, when to do the turns and, like, how to dance better. And that's right when Mihai walked up, and I told him that he had to talk to Mihai. Because you're a masterful blues dance instructor.
Did you know personally? Because I just taught you a lesson. Was it like 2 days ago?
Yeah.
3 days ago.
Yeah, amazing. By far the best dance lesson I've ever had in my life. Yeah. And they started talking, and before you know it, so you tell me the rest, because I was
yeah. So the guy's like, oh, so you teach dance? I'm like, I used to, like, usually people ask me, where do you teach dance? I'm like, well, I teach people I like occasionally. I don't do it anymore. So I think I was like, well, maybe I'll teach you a lesson. And at some point he was kind of like, well, like, you mean like for money, And I was like,
you just said you were in a gifting workshop.
I was like,
with me.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, for money, or and I mean, I'm in a gifting workshop, so I didn't actually promise it, which is big for me, because I think I might have just been like, oh yeah, I'll just teach you a free lesson. I was like, if I feel inspired, like I am just ending up a gifting workshop with this guy, so I might feel inspired to gift you. But I was like, there's a subtext of I want to get to know you better. And he heard about a gifting workshop, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing that too." I'm like, we're making Lincoln prettier or something. What do you do? Painting?
A project for this part of town, like doing a bunch of
Stinking Lincoln.
Yeah, because it's so ugly.
Getting a bunch of artists together and beautifying the city as a volunteer project.
And he's like, he's like, yeah, that's where my weekends go. And I was sold as soon as I heard that. I'm like, cool, like I'll gift you the dance lesson. And I'm like, yeah, I might be back next week, and I'll do that.
And then you just offered, like, how about 5 minutes right now? Like, I'll gift you a 5-minute dance lesson right now.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Now?
He was like, now, yeah. I was like, I like putting people on the spot, because I'm like, do you want it or not? Like, if you actually, I think that really proved that he wanted it. Like, because we've been talking all for the last couple of days about, do people have the desire to receive? And he clearly passed the desire test. And actually, to make the desire test even more challenging, I'm like, okay, like here's lesson number 1. Like, ask one of these girls to come dance with you for 5 minutes. And he's like, he pauses and he's pausing and hesitating. So
you were going to the girls in the cafe, and he didn't know any of them.
Exactly, like that. So I'm like, he's hesitating. I'm like, can you do it? He's like, yeah, I can do it. And he's still kind of hesitating. I'm like, or you could just push me around, but I'm 200 pounds and not that cute. So it's up to you. And he's like, no, I'll do it. So while I was like making arrangements to change my ride back to San Francisco, so to let Ethan go, he went and asked this girl Heather. Was her name Heather? I think.
I don't know. But she, you know, right at that moment, like I walked up and like they complimented me on my following as well. And
The girl,
yeah.
Nice. So the girl said yes to dancing with them, and we walked outside, and the girl's friend was videotaping, or I guess taking photos, while Michael was holding my iPhone to play a blues song. Like,
I was holding an iPhone like right by both of their heads, like the moving bands, you know. Like,
I like that. This guy Evan is his name. Evan was like, "Oh, I should bring this guy with me all the time." Except that you don't have an iPhone.
So Mihai gave a 5-minute, gifted a 5-minute dance lesson in the street. And her friend videotaped it. I think she's going to put it on YouTube or something. Totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
But what I liked about it was just like the aliveness of the spontaneous connection and the unpredictability and like doing something like totally outside of the box.
You said this would happen in Brazil, right? But this is really not LA.
These are the kind of experiences I've been having outside of the country where I just feel a greater freedom to connect and to just be myself and just random acts of, you know, craziness.
And what I love about it is that I could tell that like 2 or 3 places where your gifting bias has kind of been seeping into my system and is now there. Like I felt such a level of respect for the gift that I'm offering. Like I was clear that this is sacred. And I'm like, I don't know exactly how it came across, but like in my actions,
I mean, in one sense, it doesn't look sacred because you just gave it spontaneously on the street. But on the other hand, you checked that he had a real desire. He had enough desire that where he asked some strange girl to come dance with him, and she said yes.
Yeah, and but it was really clear to me. I was conscious. I didn't want anything from him. I still don't want anything from him. So there's no strings attached. I felt good. Like I felt more alive. I feel alive and giddy now. You know, like 20 minutes later. There's like a no-lose situation for me. Like there's nothing for me to lose. Like I gave and I received his receiving. Like it's almost like that was the real gift. If I could plan it so that I run into a guy like that every single day for the rest of my life, and I teach him a 5-minute lesson at 3:00 in the afternoon, like I'm signing up, you know.
Awesome. The gift for me was just it was the connection, and there was an intensity of connection because there was no we were outside of the social norm. You know, when the social norm is present, everyone's kind of doing what's normal, and there's not like an edge to it. There's not an extra aliveness. But as soon as you step out of that, you know, what's acceptable, then there's it's like you're in the unknown and you're in a space of play.
But you actually said as we were walking away, I think we were talking about the girl, but you were like, everybody wants connection, right? Can you say more about that? Like, what had you say that?
There's a gift in just connecting, and I'm gifting these workshops on miracles and gifting and receiving and speaking emotional truth and all this. But as we were kind of rethinking the workshop today, the bigger thing for me is actually the aliveness and connection.
And for aliveness, yeah.
And the gifting and receiving is something that makes that possible. The connection. But like for me, like what's really juicy about the gifting and receiving is being in that space of like kind of miraculous connection, like unexpected.
Cool. I like how you said it's almost not about the gifting. It's like my dance lesson wasn't really about the dance, right? It's about the gift, but it's not really about the gift either. It's about the state that It's about 5 people doing something spontaneous and fun and wild in the moment just because we're alive and we can. You know, like that. And you were giving your gift, and I mean, each one of us was stepping into kind of an edgy box, or out of a box, maybe. I don't know what that was. I mean, for me, I feel comfortable doing this, you know. Yeah. I feel comfortable dancing with men in coffee shops. But your edgy box was like just saying yes to follow. You're an Enneagram 8, right? So yeah, you're not supposed to be a good follower, and you actually were. Right? I could move you around pretty well.
Yeah.
His edge was like dancing in public when he's not very good, in his mind at least.
Following.
Dancing, leading.
Oh, the other guy, right?
The other guy, yeah.
Right.
When they
For me,
go,
it's not an edge to dance in public, but it's an edge to follow in public.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, anything else we want to say about that?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what connection for me in the future looks like dancing with random guys in coffee shops, but
don't knock it till you've tried it a few times.
But I like just that it was an invitation into okay, we're going here, like we're going into like who gives a rat's ass what anybody thinks. Like that's when it gets exciting, you know. It's like that's an invitation into real play and just laughing at everything.
Yeah,
you know, nothing serious anymore. Yeah,
man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.